Father, again tonight we thank you and praise you for the privilege that we have to serve you in this meeting. And Lord, I pray that as we serve, that everything we say and do tonight would bring honor and glory to you. And Lord, I pray that you would give us wisdom and so that we can do the things that need to be done for our county. And I pray tonight that you'd bless us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Commissioner Lee.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Langley.
Here.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Here.
Commissioner Northrup.
Here.
Chair Jones.
Yep.
Commissioner Grice.
Here.
Commissioner Barrera.
Here.
Commissioner Marquetti. Here. And Commissioner Lee.
Here.
All right. Open the floor for public comment. You have 3 minutes. This is our last one. Until we change the rules.
I thought she might be coming up. I didn't want to run in front of her. I'm not usually a fast runner anyway. I just wanted to request, I heard there might be something added to the agenda tonight, and that if something is added to the agenda, that there be public comment allowed about that added item.
Yes, ma'am. It won't really be up for public comment, but it'll be up for discussion for those that are involved. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
excuse me, but I did not hear what Judge Wheeler
She said that there's a possibility of something being added to the agenda, and if there is, she would hope that I would open it up for comment during discussion, and I said I would.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Floor is now closed for public comment. Additions and deletions to the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add under new business, number 5, 2026 wage increase, 2 steps for Amanda Smigo, and this will be paid for by Victor Fitz's office.
All right.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, say it again.
Sorry.
I make a motion for a 2026 wage increase, 2 steps for Amanda Smigo, paid for by Victor Fitz's office.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Commissioner Barrera.
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion on the floor and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Proposed consent agenda. Vice Chair Lawrence.
I move to approve M-20-2026 and M-21-2026 with a one-time vote.
Second.
Motion on the floor and support. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
Commissioner Marquetti. Commissioner Barrera.
Yes.
Commissioner Grice.
Yes.
Chair Jones.
Yep.
Commissioner Northrup.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
And Commissioner Langley.
Yes.
All right, Commissioner reports. District 1.
Last Tuesday night, we had it's a Cass County Delegate Committee meeting, and what they want to have done, seems how the big topic right now in this county is a data center that may or may not go in. And they would like to have each township do a resolution that nobody would sign a non-disclosure agreement. And I've checked with the city, nobody down there has signed any non-disclosure agreements. Silver Creek has not signed anything. And Wayne Township has not signed anything. But they're gonna work on making a resolution for it.
All right.
That's it.
District 2.
Nothing at this time.
District 3.
Nothing.
District 5.
I attended the Black History Month out at COA on Wednesday. Approximately 100 people attended. It was a very well turnout, very well put together program. Also attended my first material management committee, and it was interesting.
All right. District 6.
Yes, we are planning on opening the new branch in Edwardsburg, the new library branch in Edwardsburg, Friday, February 27th. At 1 p.m., there will be a grand opening ribbon cutting attended by local dignitaries and community leaders, as well as media across Michigan region.
All right. Thanks, sir. Commissioner Marquetti, District 7.
Yes, sir, thank you. Like many of us, I had a few meetings canceled due to the weather. I did attend the Edwardsburg Food Pantry meeting on January 21st and the Chamber of Commerce meeting on February 5th, and those are both in my district. The Opioid Advisory Committee met on January 26th, and I don't know, Judge Beeler, were you planning on saying anything about it? Okay, thank you. And we had a presentation by King Media on a proposal to develop a campaign for awareness on the dangers of opioids. No decision was made. We heard an update on applications for funding and review of application priorities based on the plan adopted by this county board. And we also had an update on the number of Narcan boxes distributed around the county, which is, I believe, around 15 Narcan boxes. On January 28th, we had a presentation on a pilot program called Whole Home Performance. That's a program to repair a home that has several needs. As an example, like they might need windows and a furnace, and they might need a roof. Now, the program would utilize a number of funding sources, including CDBG. On February 5th, that's today, I attended a special NATS meeting to approve amendments to several projects in Buchanan and Niles, and then they also added a project here in Cass County. The regular NATS meeting is one of those that was canceled. Okay, one of the projects was work on shoulders on US 12 from South Shore Drive to 5 Points. That's from Ontowa Township to inside Mason Township. And the original estimate was over $6 million, but when the engineering estimate came in, $4.2 million. So that was a great amendment that we needed to change. Also, this has to do with the data centers. Thanks to Tyler Oxt, he is a Michigan State Extension. He's also a member of our Planning Commission. He has sent us a great number of, in fact, I think you all got the documents regarding the data centers. And he has contacted Dr. Sarah Miles from the University of Michigan, and she partners with MSUE on their solar and wind programs. And Dr. Mills is preparing a presentation to the Michigan Association of Planners in February. And she emailed Tyler and said she is happy to do something on that order for us. She prefers face-to-face, but Teams or Zoom is possible. And what we'd like to do is invite the public, but we really believe that the townships and the 4 villages and the city of Dowagiac, the planning commissions, they are the ones who would benefit greatly because they will most likely be the ones that will come to. So I'm going to ask Ambrosia, do you have anything else to add? Because I know you were going to contact Dr. Mills.
She's agreed to cover her travel, so we don't have to cover that expense because she prefers to be here in person. As soon as we lock down a date, we'll quickly put together an invitation and send it out to those parties.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. And that's it for me.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You all had your township meeting last night?
Oh, the planning commission, we did not go last night.
Okay, because there was a lady that came into the township.
Oh, Jill Munich, yeah.
Came into my office.
Yeah, and I talked to her. Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
I can contact her. But what she wanted is she wanted to make sure that when we did have this meeting, that the public was invited. And I said, absolutely.
right.
Sure.
And some other people were adamant that we had passed a moratorium.
Yes, that's true, too.
And I told her, no, there is not.
No.
And I called Jen, I called Ambrosia, we searched it. There is no word of moratorium for the public's sake in our language.
Okay.
That is not within our means.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Good luck, Commissioner Lee. All right. Administrators report.
Most of January has been spent working either on the audit or dealing with snow days, or I was out for just a few days. So been very busy with the audit, though I can say we're in a great position. At the beginning of February, we heard Woodlands might be a little bit behind, but there's no concerns as of right now. So just want to let you know that the auditors are aware of that, and we're still hopeful to be on time. I only have one outstanding item left for the auditors on my end, which is great. So that will settle down starting now, and it will be quieter just until we get the draft financials, and then there'll be a little bit of work, and then we'll get to the full thing. And then Alan's planning on coming here and presenting that audit for you guys, hopefully in March.
All right. Any questions for the administrator? All right. Elected officials. Madam Clerk, you are first.
Thank you. Just wanted to quickly share, I am excited that I applied for and was appointed to the Michigan Judicial Council. I am one of 2 county clerks in the state of Michigan, and I was appointed by the Michigan Supreme Court. I look forward to speaking on behalf of smaller counties. I think a lot of times we get overlooked, so I anticipate having a voice and speaking up on our behalf. Yeah, thank you. So it's a 3-year term I get to serve. Thank you. And in addition, elections, of course, are always in the news, and we're getting questions after the Macomb County Clerk was talking about non-citizen voters. That is something that we are able to search, keep track of, and we have no non-citizen voters that have self-reported in our voter rolls in Cass County.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Madam Treasurer.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to make the board and the public aware that there is a case pending before the United States Supreme Court that has potential for significant media coverage and nationwide impact. I want to make sure it's on your calendar because it is certainly on my calendar. The case is the Pung versus Isabella County case. I have shared it before, but I want to give you a little bit more details and the potential impact that could have on Cass County. It's scheduled for oral arguments on February 25th at 10 a.m. And at its core, the case asks how far the Constitution limits state and local governments when collecting delinquent property taxes through foreclosure. More specifically, the petitioner is asking the court to go beyond its 2023 decision in the Tyler versus Hennepin County case and require local governments to compensate former property owners based on the asserted fair market value, rather than the amount that was actually generated through the tax foreclosure sale. The case also raises the question of whether routine property tax enforcement should be treated as a punitive fine under the 8th Amendment. In simple terms, this case is not about whether taxes are owed. It's about how the tax foreclosure system operates and how the value is determined, and whether long-standing state frameworks must be fundamentally restructured under federal constitutional standards. I want to be very clear that this case does not reflect how we operate here in Cass County. My office goes above and beyond, and we help residents avoid foreclosure through payment plans, hardship extensions, personal outreach, and partnerships, and that work will continue regardless of whether the outcome of this case. And for homeowners in Cass County, I want to emphasize that nothing about this case changes how we work with our residents in Cass County. Our foreclosure prevention efforts, payment plans, hardship extensions will all remain in place and fully available. That said, the court's decision could have broad implications nationwide. The court could uphold existing state systems, They could clarify the Tyler decision without requiring major changes or expand constitutional requirements in a way, or they could expand the constitutional requirements in a way that would require states and local governments to reevaluate how tax foreclosure is administered. The oral arguments will be public, so if you're interested, you can hear it live through the Supreme Court's official live audio page on February 25th, beginning at 10 a.m. Any decision would likely happen by June of this year. Because of the potential implications for tax foreclosure practices and the stability of local government revenue, organizations across the country, including the National Association of Counties, the Michigan Municipal League, the Michigan Township Association, and the Michigan Association of County Treasurers, are closely monitoring this case. And I will continue to follow it closely and will keep the board informed of the outcome if it warrants further discussion or action. And as always, if any homeowners have any questions, feel free to talk to me, and my door is always open.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate what you do.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Drain, Commissioner. Judge Beeler.
I just want to publicly thank our court staff and clerk file room staff for all their hard work. It's been busy in the courts, and we've been short-staffed for quite some time now. I don't know if you all realize, but we haven't had an attorney referee in the courts for almost a year now, which means for our family docket, which is one of our busiest dockets, that means we don't have a person hearing cases. And so it creates strain on all of our other court positions who have to, push a lot of paperwork and figure out where to schedule hearings, et cetera. And so sometimes I try to keep these things to myself because I feel like it's up to all of us elected officials to collaborate and work together to make the best with what we have, because our citizens count on us being fiscally conservative. But in light of recent things that I see happening, I think it's important for y'all to know all of us have challenges and are doing the best we can with the resources that you allocate to us. And I feel that we're very fortunate that we have such fiscally responsible elected officials in our county, and it's our employees who make this place great. It's not one employee, and it's not two employees. It is all the employees collectively together. And I feel that we're going back down a rabbit hole again of where we're going to start focusing on particular positions and believing particular positions are more important than others. And that is very disturbing to me as an elected official, because I have people who live paycheck to paycheck in my area too, and I constantly tell them things like, we just paid $50,000 to $60,000, I don't know what the number is off the top of my head, to a person that we said was a professional expert that graded all of our positions, and I told all of my people they had to live with that, because I don't claim to know better than that expert. Do I feel for them? Absolutely, because every time I go to put gas in my car or buy groceries for my refrigerator or to, help my daughter with her childcare, I see the costs that are being paid, and those costs are being paid by our employees, who we expect a lot of. And so the reason I'm giving this under my elected officials report is for you to understand that us elected officials meet regularly and work together to try to collectively advance our common interests here. And it's not about the court's budget or the clerk's budget or the treasurer's budget or the sheriff's budget. This is all county general fund dollars that are entrusted to us as fiduciaries. And we have responsibilities not only to our citizens, but so that all of our employees feel like they're being fairly treated. And we all stood in this room together, I think about a year and a half ago, and agreed we were going to pay an expert, an outsider, because we were dissatisfied with what happened when we had an insider do those things. And we said we would live with it. So the fact that, I guess, depending on who you are or what department you're in, the thought is people aren't being treated fairly or something, that's absolutely not the case. I spend every day of my life trying to uphold the law, to provide due process, justice, and fairness to the citizens that we serve. And I am getting very frustrated by the fact that apparently the policies that we have in our county we don't want to uniformly apply them for some reason. I get very frustrated that we think that we're an island, each one of us, and that we're more important than the other. I can't do anything I do without the help of the clerk, without the help of you all as commissioners, without the help of the county administrator, without the help of IT back there, without the help of Beth and her HR department, without the help of the sheriff. We've had some very threatening and concerning emails of late. And all of us have to pull together to get these things done. And all of this constant push, pull. And then, like, when I, hear that it's being added onto the agenda today that we're going to start singling out employees by name and discussing them at public meetings, I have a whole list of employees that were upset by the most recent class comp study, but it would not be appropriate for me to bring them forward at a public meeting and start letting them present their opinions to you, because that's exactly what it would be, opinions. So maybe I'm out of line speaking now during my report, but I love this county, I love my job, and I really appreciate all of you. But I feel like sometimes all of you who are in positions, I know it's all well-meaning, but we are working hard day in, day out, nights, weekends, trying to make all of these things work together, and doing it, keeping it at a cost that our citizens can afford. And while it may seem like small things, these budgetary matters, we spend months and months and months working on them, figuring out how to save money. My file room right now is down a person again, and I have an open position, one of my judicial assistant positions, and if I am lucky enough to hire somebody, I'm gonna pilot a project having them work down in the clerk's office 3 days a week. Because again, I know that you guys can't give me more money, so I've got to figure out a way to get the work done. So I just hope that I'm tired of people going around behind everybody's backs acting like we're not all working hard. We are. All of us get together and try to figure out ways to save money all the time. We appreciate our employees all the time, not just at this meeting. Every day I appreciate them. I try to go through and tell them how proud I am of them, how thankful I am for them. I try to bring them in treats. I try to acknowledge them. We don't have the money to give them that we would if we were in private industry. We're never going to have enough. So I just sometimes don't even know what to say. But, we finally got things on an even footing here. We've got a great team of our county administrator, our administration, our elected officials. We all try to work hard together. And, we have policies in place, and it doesn't feel like anybody wants to follow those policies. So I'm getting concerned because, fairness starts at the top. And it is our moral and ethical and legal obligation as the leaders of this county to make sure that we are doing things in the right way.
Thank you, ma'am. Sheriff. All right. All right, new business. M22-2026, motion to amend the Board of Commissioners bylaws and rules of procedure. Mr. Chair. Yes, ma'am.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion on the floor and support. Discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? M23-2026, motion to approve the amended BOC Board, Commission, and Committee assignments.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make that motion.
Second.
Motion on the floor and support. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? M24-2026, motion to approve Cass County opioid settlement funds award to the sheriff for a certified K-9 and dedicated K-9 vehicle.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make that motion.
Second.
Anybody else's mic work? In school, we'd be like, anybody other than the class, All right. Any discussion? I do. Is this replacing the current K-9 vehicle? It's another one. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yep, it's new.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, number 4 was a discussion, but I think we're good with the discussion and you don't need to have that. now that we've got what Roseanne said?
Unless Ambrosia has anything to add. Do you have anything to add that was said earlier? Okay.
Well, I would, once the invitations come out, I would like the invitation to come from the Board of Commissioners and the Cass County Planning Commission, because the Planning Commission has been wanting to do a little bit of extra, do something, you know, and so this is a perfect vehicle.
Perfect opportunity.
Yes, it absolutely is, sir. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ambrosia.
Anybody else? All right, moving on. Number 5, that's, I don't have the wording, so I will, that is a motion, so I will accept the motion.
Motion,
That's for number 5, what they added to the,
We added-
yeah, you have to read it, because I don't have the exact.
2026 wage increase, 2 steps for Amanda Smigo, paid for by Victor Fitz's office.
make a motion.
Support. Motion on the floor and support. Discussion. I'm gonna call for Beth, because she's the resident expert on this.
First, I'd like to thank Carol, Judge Beeler, for her comments. I agree with everything she said 100%. The board, in July of 2024, voted to have us conduct a class comp study, and that was it was approved not to exceed $60,000. We went ahead, we conducted that study, we hired municipal consulting services to do that. We received their results in July of 2025. At that time, all of the elected officials, the administration, we met, we reviewed the results. There were positions in there that we didn't necessarily agree with all of the findings. There were some positions that we felt maybe should have been graded higher, some that maybe should have been graded lower. However, we paid an outside, neutral, third-party professional to conduct that study, which they did. They used our taxpayer dollars, which you approved, for $60,000. Those studies, when implemented properly and maintained properly, are typically, they have a lifespan of about 7 years. We just implemented this study October 15th, 2025, less than 4 months ago. I am so extremely frustrated that we just implemented, we spent time, energy, a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of taxpayer dollars for all of the people that were involved in reviewing this, in implementing it, and making it happen. And now, 4 months later, we're gonna look at one position and determine that one position is worthy of not following the guidance that we paid for professionally to get. I caution this board to absolutely not vote to do this. I think we're opening Pandora's box. We paid this company, so it encompassed the fundamental principles related to wage and salary administration and proper evaluation of internal and external pay factors. It looked at job analysis. It looked at job evaluation, establishing internal rankings for all of our positions. It looked at the market survey, determining pay comparability. It looked at our salary and benefits. In looking at the market comparables, we looked at 14 different counties. Of those 14 different counties on this position that is asking to have step advances, it's at 127%. It is well over the average of the 14 counties that were compared, 127%. But yet we think that one individual thinks that it should still be increased higher. It's just extremely frustrating. We have approximately 186 employees, active employees. Roughly 168 are full-time. Of that, probably 168 are full-time, so we have our part-time employees in there as well. Roughly 50 non-union positions. How can we take one position and say, one position has a reason to increase and the other 49 don't? How can we do that? I don't think that's fair. We had a wage study that we had conducted internally in 2021. There was a lot of feelings about that, whether it was done accurately, whether it was done fairly. That brought up a lot of, I guess, it brought up a lot of feelings. It brought up a lot of opinions. We didn't want to go down that path again, which is why we specifically voted for an outside consulting service, neutral party, no skin in the game with Cass County. They do surveys across the country. So that's what we opted to do. And now, a survey that we paid for that should last 7 years, it's not been 4 months and we're already ready to make changes on it. That's a problem. That's a problem across the board for every one of our positions and for every one of our employees. I want to read something that was included in the survey. It said, all jobs in the pay structure have been evaluated collectively. This ensures that all jobs are considered and evaluated from one overall organizational perspective. If we take one position out of that, you now have just taken the balance, and the balance has been disrupted. So I guess that's what I have to say about it. Professionally, I don't think it's the way to go. We have market surveys, we have data, metrics that this is based on. And now we think that we should go against the professional opinions who are qualified to make those recommendations to us. I don't think we should do that. Does anybody have questions?
Yeah.
The way that I've looked at this is it's within a budget now. We approved the budget for this prosecutor's office, correct?
So annually, yes, and it's based upon the current, it's based on all employees, it's based on grades and steps.
Who makes the determine on who gets to spend it? Who determines how that money's spent within the office?
Multiple people, depends what you're looking to spend money on. You spend over several $1,000s, they have to come to me to ask for that money.
Yeah, but if they're within their
So-
budget, we don't deal with it, right?
No, that's
We don't micromanage any of
incorrect.
that.
So if somebody wanted to come and spend $25,000 and they have it in their budget, they still have to come here and ask for it. Anything over $2,000, they should be coming to me to ask for that money. People are budgeted very individually. I look at every single person and we budget it that way, and then anything extra that is added. Also at budget time, as I've explained many, many times, and this helps as we approve budgets that have $3 million more over in expenditures than revenues, because we say this is worst case scenario. We don't expect to spend all of this. I'm not handing money over to somebody when I give them a budget. That's not what you guys are doing. You're saying you can spend up to this. But as Carol even mentioned, we're trying to be fiscally responsible. You know, Monica comes to me every year and says, I think we can keep it, but I might have to come back and ask for it later. I'm like, well, let's just maybe just add it now and we'll tell them this is worst case scenario.
So if you ask for, what would that be for then? So if you, just hypothetically, if you ask for like a vehicle or?
A vehicle would come here.
So a wage increase within that unit wouldn't qualify?
Wage increases don't normally happen in between the middle of the
Well,
year.
that's what, I'm
A
not
wage
qualified to
increase
tell them how to
happens
spend his
every
money.
January. You approved a 3% COLA. They got a step increase, which was another 3%. There was a wage increase in October after the class comp study was done. So, I mean, within the last several months, there's been 3 increases.
Wage increases normally do not happen mid-year other than through the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office is different. They get their step increases on their anniversary date for the position. All other positions, your step increases are awarded on January 1st. So your wage table is determined either within the collective bargaining agreement or for the non-unions, it's voted on by the board here. So the COLA is determined, the cost of living. When we had some other changes with the pension and the retirement plans, through 2027, it was recommended that we would stay with a 3% COLA increase for our non-union through 2027, and then a minimum of 3%. And then it would be evaluated thereafter. So during that process, we still annually vote on it. So the 3% for the wage table goes into effect. So the new wage table, we have one for 2025, one for 2026. You'll vote on another one at the end of the year to see if the 3% COLA will continue. Then you'll have your, the wage table will increase by 3% for 2027. At that time, whoever is on step 1 moves to step 2 on January 1st. If you're at step 2, you'll move to step 3, and so on until you get to step 9, which is where the table tops, the steps top out. At that point, if there's no more steps, then a longevity payment is issued. And that longevity payment for a full-time employee for a non-union is $500? Yeah, $500. And then there's a few specifics that are different for a couple people that were affected within the class comp study, and that is spelled out. I don't have that information in front of me right now, but there are a few that have an additional amount because of the new scale topped out less than what their previous scale would have topped out at.
Well, that's my biggest question is within a department, if they're within their budget, I mean, I'm not going to tell them how to spend their money.
Board of Commissioners set salary.
Yeah, we have policy that states it's not allowed to give somebody a random step increase in the middle of the year. Your step increase is done on January 1st. There is no policy. At one point in time, back in 2023, we had resolution R11523 that the board approved on 7/6 of 23, and that allowed the administrator to authorize step advances. That resolution expired on December 31st of 2023. So that was the only time mid-year step advances could take place.
So he would have to wait till next January to make this step increase?
That's how it works for all non-union employees. They get their step on January 1st of each year.
So our comp class study was a guideline, it was a guideline that the elected officials agreed upon.
It was a guideline, and it had an implementation structure which we brought to the board, and the board approved, and that's how we're implementing it, or how we did implement it. But that didn't change step increases. What that brought to us was the pay structure. It brought the dollar amounts. We had different number of grades before. Now we have 13 grades, I believe. Previously, I think we had 15 under the prior structure.
That's my point. If he was going to give a step increase, do we have to vote on that too?
Yes, you would, because it would be outside of the budget. Because the wages are budgeted at that position's grade and step.
So it's not a budget that he can tap into and do exactly what he
Not
wants?
to my understanding, it's not. I mean, Administrator
The Board
Renfro?
of Commissioners sets salaries. Plain and simple. Carol can't say, I want to pay this person more. They cannot do that. I can, if someone comes to me when they're brand new, if they don't want to start at step 1, they can come to the administrator and ask to go within so many steps, but it never goes over 5.
And that's
Per
that's
policy.
per policy, yep.
Board of Commissioners approved that policy, though, so that's the only time, because you've given me that authority to do that when someone's newly hired. That is the only time.
And we most recently did that with the undersheriff. We hired him, and we hired him in at the step 5.
But there was also a motion or a resolution done because
That
it went
allowed
over
us to do
5, I
that.
believe.
Yeah.
We did bring that to the board just for
And it was a
transparency.
budget adjustment.
Yes, but it did not exceed step 5.
Right.
So honestly, it still had the ability to, is that true? I'm thinking back now. It's because the position's a step 6 right now, so it would have went to step 6 on January 1st, but I'm trying to think with the class comp, there was some changes, yeah. So it did come to the board. It may have been higher than, it might have been a 6 or 7 now
Well,
that I think back.
When it came to the board, I remember specifically, we agreed that she could hire him in as a 5, depending on who we hired and their experience level and all of that, and we gave her leeway up to a step 7.
Correct, and I didn't bring that information
Yeah,
with me
I
because I
remember it.
didn't know I would need that
Yeah.
tonight.
Is that who you're talking about, same person here?
No.
No.
Undersheriff.
No, completely different. I think Sam was next.
And it was hiring, it was a new.
It was a new hire.
It wasn't an existing hire, it
Yeah.
was a new hire.
It was a new, because he pulled him out of that position out of retirement.
Well, and there was a reason for that too, right? You have captains that you had to make sure that the undersheriff was above those captains. So
Yeah.
there was a reason for that, but yet keeping it under the sheriff. So starting at a step one, the way it was set up at the time, that captain would have made more than the undersheriff. It wouldn't have made sense. So there's a reason, so that's when they're talking about there's a structure in all positions were looked at. You start picking and pulling someone that should be above and you put someone else above them, you've messed up that order, that pecking order. It'd be like one of your employees making more money than you, Al. That doesn't make sense. But that doesn't make sense, Al.
That's a bad business decision. Sam,
Well, yeah, the point is
turn your mic on, man.
within his department, he's the one that has to make that decision on how that gets transferred up, or is that our decision?
No, that's the budget.
So we actually micromanage their budget, whether,
Once we've dedicated the money, then they have control over that within what it's dedicated to.
okay, so every single bit of that's dedicated.
In the parameters.
See, that's what I did not, see, this all came before I got here.
Okay.
So like they have money set for employees, and then they have money set specifically for paper. They have money set specifically for gas or cars or any of that other stuff.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Sam was
Oh,
next.
I'll just be quick. I mean, I think I'm surprised that we're even here tonight discussing this subject and that it's getting added to the agenda, that Jennifer Renfro, our administrator, was not made aware of this subject or even spoke to directly from the prosecutor's office, as it should be. And that the prosecutor isn't even here today to discuss this subject. So.
And from an HR payroll perspective, not one person came and asked to speak with me or to have input either, which doesn't seem to make sense when it's an employee and its wages.
It appears that certain members of this board were discussed and briefed on this subject, not all of them, not myself. Exactly, so that even that the prosecutor isn't here to even bring the subject up and discuss it to all the members and not just a few of them is a little concerning.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
I would like to know something on this, on the class comp study, the point factor. What is the internal and external relations mean?
So the point factors, there were several, I have the book in the back, but there are several basis points of you can get. It's education, it might be degree, it could be experience, it could be confidentiality, it could be decision-making. There are many factors that are graded.
I've got to hear and understand, but what is the internal and external relations?
So
I would
I'm not-
direct that question to the professional who did the study. I don't want to speak for
I
him
just
because
wondered
that's
that-
how he graded everyone.
Okay, I'm wondering, does that mean whether they like you or not?
He doesn't know us. He lives in a
Okay.
completely
So-
different state.
again, what he put in our report that we got, it's based on job analysis, it's based on
Right.
job evaluation, establishing internal ranking, so comparing positions against existing positions. So my position compared against the administrator's position or against my
Okay.
assistant position, whatever.
I'll forego that part because I have no idea what that meant either. I thought the way it reads to my mind is, well, they may like you or they may not like you.
He didn't even meet her. He doesn't know her.
I'm
He's
talking
only
well.
talking about the position.
Yeah, I'm just talking about what it says right here. Now, in that case, I'm learning a lot here too. I mean, this is great. But if you have the same title, why are there two different wages for the people?
Same title, two different
Yeah,
wages.
it's got two operation managers, one for sheriff, one for prosecutor's
So it
office.
depends on how
They're
long
different.
somebody's been in the position. So if somebody was hired 2 years ago at a step one, so they get their step two the next year, they get their step three the third year. So that person's at a step three. We just hire another one. The next one comes in at a step 1. So now you can have 2 people in the same position, but because of their seniority, because of how long they've worked here, depending on what rate they were hired in at. Judge Beeler brought up a point about how she's had a referee position open for over a year. You know, there might be a time at some point where she gets a candidate that comes in and she says, we need to start this person at step 5. And having the support or the background or whatever, you know, criteria that would maybe validate that, because the position's been open for so long and we can't fill it. So if you can't start somebody out at a step 1 and fill the position, maybe you have to go to a step 5 to be able to fill it. I don't know. Another position that we advertise and we have it open, we advertise it for a month. We get 16 candidates. We interview them. We hire somebody. We bring them on at step 1. No problem. We had enough candidates, you know, that were qualified and we could fill the position. So it didn't need to go beyond that.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a response to, you're asking about the sheriff's department operations manager compared to the prosecutors. Under the sheriff, you have 911, you have animal control, you have the jail, you have road patrol, you've got victims services. That is much different, a different amount of people, a different amount of entities compared to the prosecutor's office. So an operations manager in the prosecutor's office versus an office manager in the sheriff's office have much different, they might have the same title, but they're not doing the exact same things by any means. So I just wanted to let you know, that's probably why. He was looking more than just the name. He's looking at all the job duties. He's looking at how many people report. I don't know if Sheriff has the number for you. I would assume that it's at least 80 people that fall under the Sheriff's Department rather than a dozen. And I'm just rounding numbers. I don't know if 80's.
Where is this employee at stepwise that we're talking about?
7.
7.
And you can go to what? I mean, we're
9.
9? And she's only, how long has she been here with us in this county?
Well, in that position.
Well, I'm talking about service.
Okay.
I'm kind of uncomfortable. I don't know how much
I don't
we
know
can
that we should be
speak
talking
individually
about
a
an
person.
individual person. We discuss positions, but to be in an open meeting and discuss individual people
that'd be
isn't
bad.
appropriate.
I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah, that's already inappropriate. Yeah, we started out inappropriate.
Are we gonna do a roll call vote when it comes time?
Any further questions, or are you guys?
Anybody else got anything for Beth while she's there? So me, I'm good with you, Beth. So me, I was into the same dilemma a month or so after the class comp study was done, and instead of bringing it here for 2 positions, I brought it to the salary committee. And at that salary committee, a number of people got up and cautioned me not to open up Pandora's box for 2 positions, because at that point, then we're breaking the rules, we're doing everything that everybody else has said that we shouldn't do. And I was not threatened, but I was cautiously, vehemently warned that other people would come forward also wanting their employees to be raised. So I'm pretty sure that if this passes tonight, that same thing is gonna happen. And that's not fiscally responsible. If we do it for one, we gotta do it for everybody and open it up for the whole county and just throw away that $60,000 that we spent 4 months ago. So if anybody got anything else, we'll do a roll call unless somebody else has got any discussion. Yes, ma'am.
Jody, and then
Yeah,
Carol.
yeah.
Thank you. So I just want to address the board. I appreciate you guys, I really do, and all the things that you do for the employees, truly. But I really, really caution you on this decision as a department head. I also went through the class comp study. We all agreed, and I remember, Jeremiah, I was there for the salary committee. I've been through multiple salary committee meetings for my own staff. We follow the policies. We all go through the same procedures. We make sure that we're all on the same page so that all employees are treated the same way. We also had problems with the class comp in IT. Hey, we do these other facilities that we're managing, taking care of, have extra workloads, have not been compensated for that. And we were like, hey, we're all going because this is the best for the majority of the employees across the board for everybody in the county, so we're gonna agree to this. So if you do this, like I'm just saying, and you're right, then I'm gonna be the first one, and I'm just gonna be honest, standing here asking for that as well, because if it's okay to move people up the scale in this regard for one employee, then it's gotta be okay to do it for other ones as well. So, and I trust our administrator, I trust our HR director. We've always gone through them for these things. When we talk about moving employees up or giving out raises or doing things, we trust these people, they're the professionals. We have built relationships with them. We haven't had this good leadership in a really long time. So I'm just saying, like, you're asking me to not trust my leadership if this is something that goes through tonight. And I don't want to be in that situation where I'm going to be up against Jen or I'm going to be up against Beth when we're all a team and trying to work together. So that's something to really take in consideration here, I think, across the board. And I just appreciate you listening to me tonight. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Could I just, I want something clarified?
Yeah.
Once again. Now, the steps are only supposed to be done once a year, like in January then? Mm-hmm. That county policy.
Mm-hmm.
I've not seen an
I'm looking at the
actual
administrator.
policy that states that, but that is how it's been done.
can do it
I believe
anytime.
it's, Beth, is that in the, is there for step increases?
There is a policy that says we follow for the non-union people the steps, and that step raises are given on January 1st, and that we have to give notification at least so many days ahead of time if we're not giving that increase. And that's why we're all encouraged to do performance reviews, because we could conceivably not give somebody their step increase if we thought they were not performing well. And that's where the performance or merit or whatever else you want to say. Now, has there been many instances of somebody not getting a step increase? Not to my knowledge, but in the courts, for sure, we perform performance evaluations every year. And people are told if they're getting their step increase or not.
It's October 1st. If they don't get a step increase, they have to be notified.
They have to be notified by October 1st.
So if this person, if the one we're talking about was, okay, I guess I could use Vic's name. If the prosecutor says, I want this person to have a two-step pay increase, he should have done that like in October, November for January.
No, I guess, like, that's what I want to be heard on is there was previously a resolution that was in effect because several of us went to Matt Newton, who was your prior administrator, and said, we're having problems because sometimes people come to us and say, I've been offered another job in another county and I've invested a ton of money training them and stuff, and I want to be able to say to them, hey, if you stay here, we can bump you up a couple of steps because it's worth it to us to keep you. It's worth it to the taxpayers to keep you. So that motion was brought to the then existing Board of Commissioners as a retention strategy to say that we could ask the county administrator for permission to bump somebody up a certain number of steps, but we had to do it according to that policy. That policy was in effect twice, I believe, and it was rescinded by the board because we were concerned about money. We had us 2 years in a row where there was talk of we wanted a balanced budget. We didn't want outstanding monies out there that elected officials could spend, which is perfectly fiscally responsible. And so that authority was taken away. My position is it's a matter of policy that we have no authority to move people up within our unit's steps other than on January 1st.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. If he wanted to move this person up to 2 steps, that should have been done for January.
No, she got a step increase in January.
But if you wanted to move up more.
We don't have
You
authority
can't
to
do
do that per policy. That policy was rescinded.
Can we change that policy?
We as a
Give the power
board,
back
just
to
so it's
you?
noted, we as a
Well,
board can
we-
make those changes because we are the fiduciary.
But again,
We
what I
can do
would
that.
caution you is because the courts are a co-employer with you, I would caution you as employers, we're supposed to make decisions on positions, not people, number one. And if we would reinstate that policy, yeah, that would be awesome for me. I've had a position open for almost a year. And several of us have discussed at our next brown bag meeting that we were going to talk with the county administrator about bringing that back to you and ask for that authority, because if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. But I want to caution you tonight, and this is not a threat, I've had a position open for almost a year. So that means I've got about 100 and, not 100 because we've only started October 1st, but I've got probably then, I don't know, $50,000 available to me. So the message you'd be sending me by doing this is the money's in my budget, so I get to just randomly start moving my positions up steps because I think so. What's the criteria? How do I decide if I give them 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps? What's the objective criteria? And I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm saying I have people that deserve raises too. So if we're going to start bringing you one by one, all our employees, and I've got 42 of them, so I'll be back with my 42, because I've got money to do it within my budget, money that you guys gave me, but you did not give me extra money to give those step increases. That lady over there, she figured out what the cost of all my salaries and hourly wages were, what all the benefits were, and she gave me that amount of money in my budget. She doesn't expect that I'll take, because I had that open position, that I'll just pilfer that money. But if that's what you're saying we can do, I'm taking notes back here because I'm going to be in my office tomorrow calculating all the money I have, and then I'm going to give raises. But the problem with raises is raises are ongoing. So where does that money come from next year? Well, you know where it comes from when we come to you in August with a budget? It comes from we're going to have to decide who we're laying off. Because if we don't have more revenue, how are we going to pay for it? So who gets to lose a job so that my people can have raises? Because I've got the money now.
Right.
So if we change that policy, that would give the power back to you to move them a step when they deserve it?
It would be with the county administrator's agreement. It would be for a reason. We'd have to articulate it. There would be some objectivity to it, not just because I like your pretty face or I like your pretty face.
We're getting off the subject here.
It's not no, it is. There has to be objectivity to it. I can't just give somebody a raise because they look good.
That's what I'm trying to get to, is I don't understand. This was going on before I got here, and I'm just wondering how this works. Now I'm finding out how it's working now. So this is what I'm asking, is do we give the power, do we change that policy?
I think you're only getting part of the information. If you'd like to see how
What's
far
that?
money's
You weren't
going.
told everything.
No, I haven't been told hardly anything.
Yeah, and we don't want to say the stuff that brought us here out in public. No, we don't. We don't want to open up that can of worms.
And I feel very bad tonight because there's people listening on here who are employees, and I have nothing against the employee whose name is in this motion, but I've also got a whole 42 people that are listening that are my employees who are asking me, texting me right now. I could show you the text. So if this goes through, are you going to ask for us to get step increases? Because there were some people in my class, in the class comp study, that feel they were shafted. And I guess my question for all of you is, we did this class comp study. If you all thought it wasn't done correctly, or that he didn't calculate fairly, or you didn't know what the external, internal meant, why didn't we bring that expert in and have him answer all of your questions before we adopted it? Because this board adopted that expert's recommendations.
You're absolutely correct, Judge. And that's where we're at today. We adopted this class comp study. We did not know what the outcome was going to be. It was an outside person from the county with no ties. We didn't know whether we were on the losing end of this bid, but we went into it anyways with the elected officials and everyone else and say, whatever happens, happens. And it worked out. We implemented it. We made the decision. It's time to move on.
And this is not a us against Victor thing. I respect Victor. I understand he does an important job. But again, how am I going to go back tomorrow and tell my employees, what's the criteria for me to come to you and say my people get a raise? I've got people doing the work of 2 and 3 people because I've had no referee for almost a year. You think that work just isn't there, that the cases aren't coming in? There's lots of people pitching in around the county, and I'm not saying court employees are the only ones. Monica has people like that. Hope has people like that. The sheriff has people like that. Do you remember when we had nobody in the sheriff's department for all that time before Klink came to office? They were all pitching in. So should they get raises too? And plus, don't forget, and again, this is the lawyer in me, the sheriff just got done negotiating union contracts with his people. Is that going to call into question those contracts if the wages aren't right? It's just Pandora's box for that reason. So again, I guess I think like a lawyer, and I don't understand why we'd open Pandora's box. We paid an expert for a reason. And if it's this desire of this board to give us flexibility to move people up steps, then it should be available to all of us electeds and to the department heads, not just to one department.
But if we go back to that, then we're unraveling the work we've already done.
On the policy?
On the class comp study, if we go back on that policy.
We're talking about the policy.
Yeah. But then that just opens up the door for more and more requests to show up at her door.
Commissioner
Okay.
Grice, did you have anything? You done? All right. Yes, ma'am. Then we're gonna do a vote.
It was very hard.
Yeah, hold.
All right.
Oh, wait, I have something to say.
Well, I think Tom, let Tom speak first.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion to pull this last motion.
Second.
There it is. Motion on the floor and support. Can we do that? Can we do that?
So
Or
you
rescind?
could postpone the motion
Or table it?
or table the motion.
Rescind?
You could rescind the motion.
Okay, that's it. Rescind.
But the thing is, so like, certain things that you do will not allow you to bring it, so if the goal is to eventually bring it up again in the future, just so that's thought about, because trying to be unbiased here on that. Certain things will make it so you can't bring it back up. Okay, so if you could lay it on the table, and then if it's not brought up at the next meeting and it dies, it's considered a failure and you can't bring it back. You could refer this to the salary committee and let the salary committee have the discussion. You could postpone definitely or to a certain time. So you could postpone it to like the next month's, this meeting, or you could postpone indefinitely and that would just effectively kill the motion. It'll kill the motion too. You could also have the person who made the motion just recall it back. And as long as no one objects to that, then it just gets called back out. And then if it wants to be considered again, or there's some other changes that you want to have or something different, that can be done at a later time.
So I'll make the motion.
Does that need support, or the commissioner can just
So as
recall
long as
it?
we don't, as long as the person who made the motion can call the motion back. And as long as no one objects,
Then it goes.
then it's a unanimous agreement and it's allowed to be pulled off.
I'll go ahead and recall the motion.
Well,
No.
I'll recall it. I'll recall it.
there it is. So now, at that point, do you need support for that in the vote?
No,
or
as
just
long
it's
as no one
gone?
objects,
All right.
it's been pulled back.
Okay. All right. Whew. That was a learning experience for everybody. All right, public comment. Let's move on. 3 minutes. We won't start until you get up there.
Hi, everybody. As you guys know, I'm a county employee. I kind of want to talk about both hats here, being a resident of Cass County. Little background, I'm a single mom. I work 2 jobs, this being one of them. Your class comp study, just to put it out there, I know it was recalled, your class comp study that we paid for as a county is more than what I make at one job. So to say that that is null and void, or you guys aren't going to pay attention to that cost, kind of is hurtful, to be honest, that we spent so much money and I'm paying property taxes and I work here too. Kind of hurts to know that that much money was spent and now it's kind of being put out there that it was for nothing. To be honest, that's how it feels as a resident. Like I said, I pay property taxes. I lived here. I'm not from here. I moved to Cass County. So I know that was a big sum, but for a lot of our residents, that's a lot more than most of us make, unfortunately.
In a year.
Yeah, in a year. I'm talking 2 jobs in a year. That is still 50% of me working 2 jobs. So just to put that out there as a resident, as like a testimony, I do know a lot of our residents struggle. That's why most of them, if they have tax foreclosures, Hope's working with them, There's a lot of people out in this county that are struggling. They don't have heat. They don't have roofs, To think that $60,000 is just for nothing, just kind of It hurts as a resident. As an employee, if we're opening that Pandora's box, I think I do a great job. I think I should get a raise too. If we're throwing it out there, you know, I would be at Jen's door tomorrow morning going, hey, you told me I was a rock star yesterday. I think I need more money. Let's make up that difference, you know? I'm just saying, as both hats, I get it, but also, like, I'm definitely one of those people that struggle, and I work 2 jobs so that I don't have to struggle. But if we're spending more than half of what I make working 2 jobs, I mean, I work 70 hours here. I work another full-time job. You know, I start work at 4:30 in the morning, and I don't stop till 7 p.m. So kind of.
And you're a single mother.
And I'm a single mom. So, like, that hurts, you know? And I know I'm not the only one in this county. I know I'm not the only mom. And I know there's moms out there that work way more than that, and single dads that work more than that. Just want to put that perspective that outside of this bubble that we're in right now as a resident and, you know, someone that has that going on, I really urge you guys to think about them, you know, when we're thinking about costs. As an employee, I handle a lot of the accounts payable. I'm trying to cut costs just on postage. We spend 74 cents on every piece of mail that's mailed out. If we mail out 200 items, that's $400. I'm trying to cut even those pennies for us because I'm also paying for that, right? I don't want to pay that. I don't want to, I don't want my money just to go to mailing something out, but it's part of the process. So, I mean, on the employee side, I'm working to try to cut costs too at even my level. On the resident side, I mean, it hurts. There's stuff going on in this county that feels much more important. And I do believe that you guys adopted that class comp for a reason. I would like to think that we adopted that class comp for a reason and to be fair to all of the servants at this county. So just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir. When you come up, push the button there with the little voice. And we don't know who you are, if you don't mind telling us.
Sure, I'll introduce myself. My name is Luke Laurie, and I kind of feel out of place after the meeting tonight, but it was a good meeting to attend. So my last name is spelled L-O-R-I. Some of you might recognize the last name. Some of you may know of me. But just a quick backstory. My mom is a retired teacher from White Pigeon Schools. My dad was the St. Joe County Sheriff for 20 years, and then went on to be the state representative for our area. For me, I graduated Constantine High School, went to Michigan State, earned a bachelor's degree in environmental policy with a cognate in political science and a specialization in international business. I then went on to serve over 2 decades as a corrections officer at the jail in Centerville. And then after that, most recently as the district court magistrate in St. Joe County as well. I'm here tonight just to introduce myself and advise this commission that I have filed to run for state representative. I'm not here to talk badly about anybody. I'll just say that I came to this conclusion after a couple of years of thinking about it, talking to people. Just seems to be a lot of unhappiness about the level of service and leadership style of the individual who we have right now. If I'm elected, you'll find me right here in this area talking to everybody, local leadership, teachers, farmers, anybody on the street who has a problem. I'd like to take that problem to Lansing and see if I can fix it for them. If elected, you won't see me showboating or self-promoting myself up there. I won't clog up your emails with the latest antics in DC. You have 24/7 news cycles for that. Instead, you'll find me focusing solely on the residents of the 36th House District. I want to work to maintain open lines of communication with everybody. And then I also, more importantly, probably want to promote our area as a great place to live, work, and play. I feel like that hasn't been done in a while. With my years of public service, my education, and quite frankly, the public service of my family before me, I feel like I'm the best candidate to be your next state rep. I hope come August, you'll agree with me as well. I'll stay for whatever is left of the meeting tonight to answer any questions or just talk. I'll be back at a future date, as you can imagine, just to give a quick update and drop off any sort of literature I have. But if you want my email to contact me between now and whenever that future date is, I'll give it to you right now. And it's Luke LLORI. So it's Luke L. Laurie at Yahoo. You're more than welcome to reach out. I'm retired. I got nothing but time.
Thank you, sir. Where do you live?
I live in the city of Three Rivers.
In Three Rivers.
Yep.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Yep. Anybody else? All right. Commissioner announcements and comments. District 1.
I'm good.
2.
Yes.
3, 4. That's me. 5. 6.
I'll try to keep it real quick. As we have discussions going forward, specifically about data centers, I just urge that the conversation not be about pro-growth or anti-growth, but whether the project really truly meets our long-term obligations without shifting the cost or risk onto the residents or limiting future options. But just as important, decisions of this magnitude should never be made without public input. I do agree that that meeting that we're going to have and invite the local townships and villages, they have a huge task on their shoulders when it comes to this subject, because it really is going to end up on their docket. But just as a reminder, those representatives are representatives of their constituents. So I really believe that the constituents need to have a voice in this matter and just speak up on this subject because their voice does matter.
Thank you, sir. District 6, or 7, Commissioner Marquetti.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Lee, you lucked out. You ain't got to follow something. All right. All right. There's nothing else. We are adjourned.